Uh, okay, okay, so screwed up. I should just put a hat. But yeah, so I think I got a job. Hello, 1 2. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Yeah, so check it. I went to a job fair today. Job fair. And the reason why I went is because I told you guys I was looking for a part-time job uh, to help supplement my income because I am thinking about going to law school. And if I do go to law school, I want to pay for it out of pocket. And I don't have $120,000 in my pocket, not even close. So the only way to do that is work part time and save up every paycheck that I get. Now I'm not going to go through my finances on here, but I am going to say this. I don't pay any bills where I'm at right now other than my rent. That's it. I pay the rent and I don't pay the other utilities and stuff. So water, gas, uh, internet, uh, electricity, and cable. I don't pay those. But I still pay home insurance and I pay my car insurance faithfully, even though they've gone up, which is ridiculous. I don't understand why they've gone up. So, uh, I might have to cancel them and go with another program because, I don't like the fact that they have charged me what they're charging me, and I've gotten to no accidents. But anyway, so I pay my rent and I pay my home insurance, pay my and my other insurance, car insurance. So, I do like my sales, but they kind of handicapped me when I got down here and didn't go the way I thought, but that was okay. I had a contingency. I said, I told them if I move down here, listen, I want to, you know, be able to work for you guys, doing appliances. And I told you guys, the lady was like, nah, we don't like the way you do your thing. I actually talked to those guys today, maintenance guys today, and I was like, how do you guys, do maintenance when you fix stuff? And I said, and the lady sent me out to, 3, 4 houses. They said, we didn't even know you went out. I said, yeah, she sent me out. And I went to 4 different places in one day. I had, a dryer, another dryer to fix, and, blah, blah, blah. And they said, it sounds like you went up to the west side. I was like, true, I did. And uh, I said, now when I got them open, I didn't have the parts with me. And I asked her about ordering the parts. I said, do you have like a credit card or an account, where I can, go into an appliance place and, parts place and get an appliance, so on and so forth. And she was like, so you don't have the appliances. I was like, lady, I don't carry the parts with me and I don't pay for parts. That's ridiculous. So she, said, we don't need you after that. So I was asking them, how do they do it? And they were just like, you're not expected to have the parts because, you don't know until you know what you need. And I was like, that's kind of what I thought. Anyway, so they said they're going to talk to the owner. But what that did was it counted me out of some money, some extra little hustle. So I was like, all right, cool. My contingency plan was I need to get a part-time job. So I went to a job fair, and what was at this job fair was, like Franklin County Children's Services was there. They were looking for some part-time people, part-time and full-time actually. They were looking for some, even temporary temp to hire, which is pretty cool. They had a couple programs that's part time. It was uh, like a 9 to 2 or a 2 o'clock to like 7 or 8. So they had some interesting stuff there. Working with kids and stuff like that. And I also checked out the IRS because they was there, and the IRS said we are only in us here. They're like we're looking for agents to go to people's houses and handle some people's accounts. Some you can virtually do it, but basically the IRS was like, we need agents to handle the accounts that are $3 million and less. So what's happening in America is the people who are in like the mom and pop shops and stuff like that, and the small business owner, they're finding out that these people are not paying their taxes. So what they did was they said, we need to hire a bunch of people so they can go out and, pretty much all over America, but we need to send agents to people's doors and say, hey, you have this much that you need to pay back to the IRS. And if you don't do it, we can, have ways of getting it from you, basically. So they said, this is the way we get it from people. We ask them, can they pay for it? We look at their assets and we ask them, can they liquidate their assets? We have relatives that can pay it, the whole 9 yards. And they say sometimes we just go into their bank account and we take it from them. Like I said, this is a mom and pop shop. What's up, man? Sorry, I didn't read that earlier. This is a mom and pop shops, small business owners. They're like, sometimes we just go and take it from them. Got to put my glass on. Congrats. Salute. Yeah. So I was like, ooh, that's something else. That's aggressive. And they said, yeah, you got to be, doing this kind of job. We'll give you a whole set of accounts. You got to be on it every day. It is the government. So you got to go to USA Jobs and then boom, look out the IRS. And then, I kind of told them my background. I'm ex-military. I have a degree, blah, blah, blah. And because they were talking to other people and the young lady said she has a degree, and they were like, we have degrees too, but we don't use our degrees. When I talked to her, I was like, I also have a degree, but I've noticed you guys say it doesn't matter. They said, that's not true. Your degree does matter. So for an agent, which I haven't applied for yet, to be an agent, the starting pay was $48,000 a year. What was interesting to me was after 2 years, it goes up to $71,000. Now, bust it. After that, it goes up. After 2 years of that, it goes up to over $100,000. Now, check it. So the government works on GS levels. So any job you have starts at a GS something, right? So you can be a dishwasher for the government working, whatever. That is a GS something. So it's GS4, GS5, whatever. So the IRS, the job that they were talking about, the agent is almost $50,000. That is a GS7 level. So when you hit GS9 level, it's $20,000 more, and it's only 2 years later. So I was like, where they do that at? Like what? Like that made me think you're about to like the people who hit 7. Well, you come in at 7, and then when they hit 9, I'm thinking you must have tripled their workload because you were just babying them for a couple years, and then once they got in, you just hit them with a whole boom. Now this is your whole section. Get it done. See you at lunch, type of thing. And then after that, you hit the after GS9, once you hit GS13, which they were GS13s, they were doing, so those two people I was talking to, it was a black woman and a white dude, both of those are GS13s, and they're doing $100,000 a year. I'm telling you guys this, so if you guys, want to go ahead and apply, you apply on usajobs.com, and go ahead and try your luck. So that was an interesting conversation. I also talked to a place called St. Vincent's. I used to work for them a long time ago, and I told them who my supervisor was. They were like, "We don't even know him." I was like, "This is a long time ago." And one guy was like, "Well, I've been here for 5 years." I'm like, "No, no, 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 no." I said, "I'm almost 60 years old. This is a long time ago." And they were like, "Wow." And I was like, "Yeah, I'm almost a 60-year-old dude." So yeah, it was 20, 25 years ago or so. So they were like, "Oh, okay." And I told them about my experience, but they were looking for some workers there. And it's working with kids that are just having a hard time, special needs kids. And some of them are, geniuses. One kid that I worked with, he was a genius. He knew just a bunch of history about dinosaurs. Clearly was going to be some kind of paleontologist. He was a genius. So I talked to them. Then I talked to a temporary company, and they saw what I had on, and I told them what I do for my little hustle, and they were like, "Oh, well, you could be a maintenance man." I don't really want to be a maintenance man, but that job that they were, because she was like, "We're looking for a direct hire for a maintenance guy. So if you want to be a maintenance guy, blah 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 blah." Uh, so that would be a maintenance guy at an apartment complex, which it's not a terrible job. It's just that it's just not what I want to be. I want to use my degree and kind of do that. I don't necessarily want to work in corporate, but I want to use my degree and being a maintenance guy. I mean, I could do that, but I'm always gonna be like, what else can I? What else can I do than just be? You don't need a degree to be a maintenance guy, but I can jump into a maintenance position anytime. I asked them how much they were paying. The answer was they started between 23 and 26, which is on the top end, somewhere around $51,000. Next to them was Kroger's. I tried to work with Kroger's before a long time ago. Kroger's, they were like, "Yeah, we're looking for maintenance guys too, but they're looking for people they're in Delaware. Ugh, Delaware is a hike from where I'm at. I'm trying to even think which way is. Oh, Delaware is north. So Delaware is all at our uh, pick and pack center. So it's like you're either going to be a pick and packer, which is cool, it's Kroger's, or we're looking for maintenance guys. Like right away, we're looking for somebody to slide right in there. So if you want to be a maintenance guy, we got that open, for you. I said, look, I mess with refrigerators, washers, dryers, and other stuff, but I don't know anything about HVAC. She said, "Don't even worry about it. Once you get there, they'll just show you the ropes." I got to be honest, you know what I'm saying? Because people think if you know how to do refrigerators, then you know how to do everything. It's just like, nah, no, 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 I don't know how to do everything. Plus, on refrigerators, I'm still struggling when it comes to the deeper stuff, the boards, and it's just a lot to learn. The pressure and biometric pressure and meters and all that. It's a lot of stuff. Sea level, non-sea level. When you look at a refrigerator, you just don't think all that's going on. You know what I'm saying? And there's just so much going on with the fridge. I am just now learning. Yeah. So pressure sensors and all this other stuff. It's really involved. But every day I get up, I watch a YouTube on how to do this with a fridge, how to do that. So I'm learning every day. And so I was like, okay, cool. They said it's starting out at 48. No, they said it's starting out at 27. So it's not a bad start. I mean, it's like, well, wait a minute. I said, wait a minute, that's around what, 52? They was like, yeah, around 52. So that's not a bad start, but it's the gas that's going to kill me because I live way south and they're way north. I mean, I'd be talking about a good hour drive, not to mention they said that um, the shift starts at something like 6 o'clock or something like that, 5 or 6 o'clock. So I would have to be up around 3:30, out the door at 4:15 just to get there at 5:15. You know what I mean? Like that's an early start for me. So I don't know if I want to be on military time again, but that is what it is. Um, if I did get that job, I would definitely move out of where I'm at. I would be like, peace, I'm gone, and move way up north. And of course, it gets more expensive the further up north that you are. Delaware is a really nice place to live. Like, there's not a hood in Delaware. There's not a hood. There's not one. Like, oh, this is the. There's not one. There's no hoods in Delaware. Everything is. I mean, you want to talk about some nice places to live. But it's expensive, so you'd be looking at rent, $2,000 and more. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, there's that. But yeah, if I got that job, which I'm sure that I could get, uh, you know, I would have to move from here up to Delaware, and then there's that. Let's see who else I talked to. So the people I think I'm gonna go with, they're also up north too, but they're not as far as Delaware. They're up by the airport, which is where I used to live. I used to live up by the airport. These people are a home improvement uh, type of company, and they're looking for different positions, but mostly they're looking for brand ambassadors. That's the reason why I was interested. I was like, brand ambassador, I've done that before. And I talked to the lady and I said, listen, I'd just be part time. She's like, well, we're looking for part time and full time, but we really want full time. I said, well, I'm looking for part time and this is my situation. And she was like, oh, okay. You know, uh, so this is the job, basically a home improvement company. Uh, you'll see them at state fairs. You'll see them at all kind of, places. The good thing about being a brand ambassador for them is everything is on the inside. So if it's freezing cold outside, you will not be out there. You'll be on the inside. Wherever we're going to go, it's going to be an inside show. And you set up a tent, you get your talking points together, and you stand there and you wait for people to come by. The thing about them is you're just not handing out information. You're actually trying to, get the people to, information. And then once you have your name on that, Mr. Billingsworth, he's looking at doing some home improvement and he talked to you, you put your name down on whatever, once he fills all his information and give your people that information. If it actually, the salespeople, when the salespeople call them, and Billingsworth actually agrees to getting some stuff done, you make a percentage of the salesperson going out there. You make a percentage of that, and she's like, you make $30 for if the salesperson goes out and talks to these people, you're going to get $30 of that. So there is an incentive, and I like that. I like the fact that this incentive, it starts off at $15 an hour. I was like, okay, cool, because I have a ceiling that I can't go past. And so, but like I said, all I was looking for is supplemental income. And once she got my numbers down or how far I can go, she was like, yeah, we can work this whole thing out. So I think I'm going to go with that program. And she says she's going to call me tomorrow. And that's cool. I've been a brand ambassador before. It's not hard. And boom, it's consistent. And that's what I need. Like I said, I'm thinking about going to law school, and I need about $120,000. Even if I don't go to law school, I'm going to get a master's degree in something. So to get a master's degree, I am still looking at $30,000. Another thing is law school and schools period, have started making it easier for students to get in. I don't know if y'all know that, especially non-traditional students, which are older people. But even law school is making it so you do not have to take, I think it's the LSAT. You don't have to take the LSAT, and they're going to do that in 2025. They're going to be like, you don't have to take this LSAT anymore. Um, they still do the SAT, so you know what your scores are, but you don't need the SATs to go to college. I took the SAT, I sucked at it, but I still went to college. So there's that information for those of you who are, looking to either go back to school or whatever. What up with you? Yeah, what's up, Capers? Or whatever, what have you. I also hit up one of my lawyer friends, and he's gonna, kind of fill me in on the ropes of going to school and whatnot. But anywhere around, I want to go back to school, and I don't want to take any loans out. So there is a lot of healthcare work that's opening up, especially where I live. It's healthcare this, healthcare that. And I found out that they're looking for a lot of mental health people. So if you get a master's degree in mental health, you're not going to be broke. And what I really love about that is a lot of it is virtual now. So you don't even have to be on hand. When I got my evaluation, I was talking to somebody through a computer screen. They just pushed a camera into a room, and I sat down, and a lady got to talking and did my assessment, and boom, it was over with. And they didn't charge for that. So if any of you guys need a mental assessment, make sure of the mental assessment that you need, because if it's court ordered, it's different. There are two different assessments. Hopefully you guys won't need any of them, but the one assessment is actually free. It's a free assessment. And that's an assessment of care, meaning can you take care of yourself? And the other one is a mental, kind of like a mental aptitude, like where is your mind at? And that one is court ordered for like anger management and that, are you crazy? That type of stuff. So that's a little bit different. So there are two different types of assessments. And you can walk into these mental hospitals and into a triage unit. You can just walk in and get an assessment and walk right out. So just let you guys know there's that. And they didn't even look at any of my credentials. So they didn't say what healthcare program are you with, Aetna, Humana. They didn't do none of that. You know what I'm saying? And they sent it to me in an email. So there's that. Yeah, so there's that. So if you guys need a mental health assessment, you can just call up a mental health place. They're open at night and say, hey, I need an assessment. Boom, go in there and get an assessment. But remember, that is not a court-ordered assessment. So be clear on if you're ordered to get one by a judge or by a probation officer. There are two different assessments. So there's that. But I wouldn't mind getting into I wouldn't mind. Well, here's what I'm saying. If I don't become a lawyer, if becoming a lawyer is just too damn hard, law school is just ridiculous. It costs a lot. But if I don't become a lawyer, I need to look at my other options. You know what I'm saying? So my thing now is get as much money as I can in my pocket. That's really what I'm trying to do. I'm just trying to, save as much as I can. And that way, when I go to school, I don't need to worry about running out of money. That's my big thing. So $40,000 is a good start for me. I mean, if I had that, this is 40 grand that I don't need. If I had that, I would already jumped into somebody's school somewhere. But that's only a year's tuition in college as far as law school, and not including books. And but that is 3 years or 2 years of a master's degree if I was going to get, be some kind of mental, health worker or whatever, which I haven't even looked that far into. But so there's that. As far as the costs, and of course you can get grants because I'm in state. You got a lot of things you sound like you want to do. And the thing is, I don't have kids, wife, and all that. I can do every single one of them. That's the beauty of it, is You know, I can go and get a master's degree and have it in 2 years and work in the field and mill around, just, say, okay, I can do this. Go to Spain for a while. Who cares? With the things that I look at, what I can do, I look at, can I do this anywhere? So I don't look at something that would leave me, boom, I can only do this here. I look at something that has credentials behind it and I can do anywhere, any state, any country. Those are the things that I look at. If I want to go to Barcelona, can I go and be a mental health worker? Absolutely. You know what I mean? So, can I be an attorney over there? Absolutely. So these are the things I look at. Now, of course, credentials, change, but that's what I look at. And uh, I I'm just one of those people who, I just don't mind being in school. I don't mind learning. I really want to get into something, learn something new. Every day I get up, I'm looking at how to fix this and how to do that. But I really like learning, and I really like the aspect of uh, uh, digging into people's minds and finding out what's going on with them, too. So that's another thing. Uh, I seem to ask people a lot of questions when I meet them, and I've been holding back on that. So I'm like, why don't I just become a professional of asking people questions? Because sometimes I just will see somebody and I'll be like, I wonder about this, and you just can't do that because people are easily offended nowadays. But if it's my job, then boom, I could be like, "Hey, Mr. Woodson, how you doing today? What's going on? How's the family?" And they can't go. It's none of your goddamn business. You know what I'm saying? I'm your mental health worker, so it's my job to ask you how you're doing, and so on and so forth. And is the water wet? Type of thing. So those are just things I'm looking at as far as as that's concerned. I like minding people's business that are interesting to me. You know what I'm saying? If they're interesting to me, I like to start conversations with interesting people. Why do you have a nose ring? Did that hurt? How much did that cost? If you take it out, will the hole close? That type of thing. And those things are part of people's personality. They feel. One woman I was talking to on Facebook, she was like, "Yeah, I'm looking for a man." I mean, she's half naked on Facebook, you know, with tattoos everywhere. And I wrote her and I said, your video that you put up is not going to help you find a man. Not to mention your tattoos. She was like, "I've had these since I was 13 or 15." And I'm thinking, well, there's a story right there. Why did you get those at 15 years old? And why haven't you tried to get rid of them? What's really crazy is you're a tattoo artist, but you're complaining because you can't find a man. And everybody in the comments knows why you can't find a man. It's because you're tatted up. And men don't like it. If they don't come from a certain background, they don't like it. You know what I mean? So that person to me they need a talking to. They need some therapy because you're almost 30 years old and you're out here looking for a dude. Well, guess what? You're not by yourself. There are a lot of women in your space who's competing for the same dude that you're competing for, and you're doing things that are stopping you from advancing past the next chick who's getting ready to hit the wall. And it's the truth. So just things like that. I you guys know I go out and either on the internet or go out and talk to people every day about something that has to do with appliances, and you'd be surprised at the conversations that come up or the things that people do. One lady flashed me. I was like, what? It just blew my whole head that this lady just flashed me. She's standing there talking, and I'm trying to, do something with this washing machine and trying to, I'm getting ready to leave actually, getting ready to head up the stairs. And I'm trying to move this washing machine out the way, and she's talking to me, and she just lifts up her shirt, and there's nothing, there's nothing there. And I was just, and then she just kept talking like nothing happened. You know, I was like, what just happened? This lady just flashed me. Type of thing. Nonetheless, a few minutes later, I was out the door. So I got her. So I went upstairs and she had a washing machine and dryer she wanted to get rid of. So I'm outside putting it on my, truck, and she's standing at the back gate watching me. And I'm, strapping everything down so it doesn't move around on me. And I was going, "What's going on?" She said, "I'm just watching you." And I was like, "What is going on, dude? This lady just went." And I was like, "You just flashed me downstairs." She was like, "No, really, like, did I do that?" Type of thing. I'm like, "Lady, you ain't got no damn." Oh my goodness. But yeah, so there I run into a lot of personalities out here, you guys. There are a lot. Oh my God, there are a lot of different things. Nah, bro, no. I was out. I didn't touch her. Now she paid me $200, man. I was gone. I was gone. My only mistake that day was I junked her GE washer, and I shouldn't have done that. I needed the parts, and it didn't hit me until I left. I needed the parts from that washer. That was a mistake. Ah, I needed the parts, but it is what it is. I shouldn't have got rid of it, but I got an extra 30, $40 out of it. So it was a good day as far as sales is concerned. And I haven't heard from her. So it means the machine I sold her works good and she's happy with it. And she's like, "When I get some money, I'm going to have you come fix my other washing machine." And I will. So, but it was blasé to her. So I was like, okay. But you'll be surprised at some of the stuff these, people do, especially women. Women will always surprise you. Always. When you're walking into their house and, you're there on business trying to get your 250 for that day, and then somebody does something that's just totally crazy. You're just like, did that just happen? Yeah. Like these one dudes. Oh my God, I sold these guys a washer. I walk into the house. They were two dudes that were a couple. And I walk into their house and they had animals, dogs, lizards, all this kind of stuff. So there was dog crap all over the place. It was I don't know how people do that. But I had to walk down the stairs and dodge the dog crap and the all kind of animal crap to but man, I was like, let me get this money and get the hell out of here. And the dude was like, "I apologize for all the stuff." No, you don't, because you knew I was coming. And you knew I had to, I'm going to have to take your washing machine out of here. I got to put mine in, and I got to go this way. There's a small area you could have cleaned it. Don't apologize. You could have cleaned the whole damn thing up before I even came here. So, "Oh, I'm sorry. It's a mess." So get the hell out of here. You could have cleaned. And this is what I'm like, why? You know what I mean? But I sold a washing machine. I haven't heard from him, which is good. That means the washing machine works. And I was out of there. Just very interesting people you'll meet in the field. Very, very, very interesting people. I went to this one lady's house, delivered a washing machine and dryer, and I realized I had already been at her house before. I was like, "Oh, you're the lady I came to fix the refrigerator." She was like, "Yeah, we plugged it into, the patio. Just like you said, I haven't had a problem with it since." I said, "See, I saved you some money." Basically, her brother, uh, he worked for a moving company, and they came to my house when a customer bought a refrigerator from me. So those guys came, took the refrigerator, boom, took it to this lady's house, and then he remembered that I work on refrigerators. So when his sister had a problem, he's like, I'm gonna call this dude. So I went over there and I looked at a refrigerator and start pushing buttons. And within like 10 minutes, I said, well, let me give you the good news or the bad news. Which one do you want? And basically, I said, listen, your refrigerator, something might be wrong with the heating element. I'm not really sure. And then I started testing her sockets and I said, here's the problem. You're not getting enough power. And this needs 120 at least. You have 114. You need to find a socket here in here somewhere where it has at least 120. We found one that was doing 119. They plugged in there, boom, and it worked. She's like, how much do I owe you? I was like, $50. Paid me my $50. I was out. Easy. Easy. Easy money, easy on her, and everything's working out for her. So yeah, like I'm still gonna do that. I love the refrigerator game. I just love it. I mean, I love buying low and selling high. It's just something I'm gonna always love to do. But like I said, I don't want to take out any student loans, so I got to get me some money. And I figure if I go at it hard enough and I save all the money that I make, I think that it would take me around maybe 2 years to get 40 G's. Probably a little less because of the refrigerator game. You know what I'm saying? So I'd be looking at 12, 24. Yep, a little less than 2 years to get that much because of the refrigerators. And once I do, I can just go ahead and make my move on to where I'm gonna go, and I'll be pretty solid by then. I'll know exactly what I'm gonna do. I won't sound so wishy-washy because it does sound like I want to do a lot of stuff because I do, but I'll really have it down pat. But I need to get that money first before I go ahead and go. Okay, boom, here. I'm just looking at stuff, and then I'm looking at how much people make, and you know, you can go to school and get a whole degree and make as much as people who don't have a degree. And that's what I mean. Even though I respect maintenance people, love the maintenance guys, you got to have guys and gals, but they don't have degrees. And my head, I'm thinking that degree I should make more than what somebody with a non-degree is making. That's just the way I look at it. Even if I walk in as a maintenance man and I'm doing what the next guy's doing, if that guy doesn't have a degree in something, then I should be making more than him. That's just my thoughts. Hold on a second, guys. That's just the way I think. That's just the way I think. Am I wrong? Am I wrong? Am I wrong? That's just the way I think. That's just what I think. If if somebody has a degree, I just think they should be making more than somebody who doesn't have a degree on in general, because there are a lot of people who don't have degrees and they're making really good money, but they specialize in something. So the tech world, uh, I mean, if you learn how to code, I mean, God bless you. If you learn how to code, it's everybody's looking for you because coding is everything. I mean, you could develop an app. I thought about that. I wanted to get a hold of some coders, actually, because I was like, hey, I got an idea for a healthcare app, and and I started to look into it. This was like 6 years ago. I started to look into it, and I got discouraged by a company called Unilock, and I found out that Unilock was a shadow company that would hire lawyers to sue people with successful apps. And that's because Unilock has some type of um, proprietary ownership with Apple, like it's either Apple or Google. So if you have an app, we'll just say it's a healthcare app where you download the app and you can, I don't know, check your vital signs or something. But let's just say that app does good, right? What Unilock will do is they'll look at the app and they'll look and say, because you can see the numbers, the download numbers. And what they'll do is they'll say, this person downloaded 40,000 in one day, the next 60,000, 100,000. Unilock is going to give you a call. What they're actually going to do is they're going to send you a cease and desist letter. And you're going to be like, you guys have nothing to do. That's not true, because you can make the app, but you also have to. It's like making music. You can make music all you want, but in order for somebody to hear your music, you have to have a what? Distributor. And that's where Unilock comes in. So if your distribution of your app is going through like Google or Apple or anything like that, they're going to say, we get a cut of what your, of the percentage of this app that's being sold. So, and when you look up Unilock, you're going to find out that it's just a company. You go to where the company is, you're going to see Unilock on it, you're going to open the door, there's going to be absolutely no one there. Absolutely no one. It's a shadow company. But their lawyer is going to be, but their lawyer is going to come out of nowhere and they're going to see you in court. And they're going to be like, you downloaded 2 million within the last 6 months. We want a piece of that. And they're going to whip out their proprietary whatever that you have no knowledge about because you didn't know about distribution. And then they're going to say, this is ours right here. You use this, algorithm on this platform. And because you did that and did not inform us, we want, 30%. Yeah, we want 30%. And that's what their lawyers do. They just go around suing people who have successful apps. And if you don't believe me, look it up. It's just the biggest mess in the world. But if you have a successful app, the lawyer, there's going to be a lawyer that's going to get in touch with you. And their reasoning is, hey, you can't use our stuff. And you're like, this isn't your stuff, but they're going to go, technically, it is ours. And you can't use it. So now you have the issue of how can I distribute my app without going through Unilock? Well, the problem is any and every app has to be distributed some kind of way electronically. So if it's not Unilock, you're going to run into somebody else. That's one of the biggest problems in the app game. Yeah, so you really got to watch. You can come up with a great idea. As soon as people start downloading, you're going to have lawyers just come out of nowhere. And they all want a piece of the pie. And they want a good chunk of the pie, too. And they want it pre-tax. They want it pre-tax. So, you're going to be 30%. That's not that bad. That's terrible. They basically give you an evaluation. So if you watched any you know Shark Tank or anything like that, you'll understand why 30% is absolutely horrible, especially pre-tax. It is terrible because you got 30% gone of what you made. Let's just say you had $1 million evaluation. $1 million evaluation will sound like this. You'll go on Shark Tank or you go to any shark because you can Shark Tank just made a show of it. You can call up anybody who has this money, and you can be looking for a seed round, which is an A round. So there's A, B, C, and whenever you need money, then that's D. You need money again, that's E. You see how it goes. So your A round, this is what you get from Shark Tank. Uh, if you want to start your company, if you got a great idea, boom, you want to start it. You're like, I need so and so to start this company. That's your A round. Some people already got their company started, but what happens is you need to get to the next level, which means you need a commercial kitchen. You can't afford. You need a distributor. You can't afford. You just need something because your company boom, it went bigger. Or you need to get into SEO, which is Facebook and all that other stuff. Now, when you're talking electronics, these guys are going to help navigate through all that because you really don't know how to do it to the fullest extent. That's where those guys come in, and when they listen to you and they give you an evaluation, they're going to say, how much did you make your first year? You're going to say, I made $100,000. You're going to go, okay, not bad. How much did you make your next year? I made 250. And go, okay, you're growing. See, they already know the increments in which you're growing. What they're doing is they're looking for the 5-year plan. So they're looking where you're going to be at in 5 years if you're going to hit $1 million or what. So that's how they evaluate you. So they go, okay, if you did 100,000, we think your company is worth $1 million. We're going to, and they don't even say your company is worth $1 million. They say it like this: did 100,000, I'll give you 10%. When you do the math, 10%, 100,000, you're looking at $1 million. That's how they evaluate you when you start breaking it down. So they go, I'll give you 10%. They're telling you your company is worth $1 million, which is bad and good, depends on what your company is. But that's basically them evaluating your company, and they're evaluating you on how much you don't know. I saw one guy get turned down by everybody simply because he didn't know his customers' acquisition cost. He had no idea, but he had a successful company. He was running a meat company. So he was selling hams and turkeys and all this other stuff. And one of them said, what is your customer's acquisition cost? And he looked at him and he says, I don't even know what that is. They said, I can't do anything with you. And he lost all 5 sharks because of that. But the person who asked him that was Mr. Wonderful. That's how he talks. He always talks in numbers. And the reason why he asked him his customer's acquisition cost, because he was asking him, how much does it cost you to get a customer? So now you got to go into marketing and all that other stuff. And there's a lot of numbers into getting one customer. And he was like, I need to know that cost, because if it costs you $100 to get one customer, and 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 uh, and it costs the next guy $50 to get that customer, guess who he's going to invest in? He's going to invest in the guy $50 to get that customer. Why? Because it's the money's coming out of his pocket. He's not spending as much money getting the customers. If both of you are equal when it comes to success, he's going to go, I'm going to go with this guy. So what that guy did, it broke his heart. He got turned down, but he learned his customer acquisition cost, and he came back on Shark Tank, and he's like, I know what my customer's acquisition cost is, and he got the money that he was looking for. But he wasn't looking for a seed round because his company was already up and running. He needed his company to go further, and he needed a Shark Tank behind him to help him with his numbers, their name and all that other stuff. So that's the whole thing when it comes to evaluation of your company. I know that was a long diatribe, but there it is. So if you watch Shark Tank, listen to the numbers because the numbers will tell you everything. Uh, but anyway, so the company I'm going to go with the home improvement, and I like the fact, well, not the home, well, it's the home improvement, but I like the fact that if I want to go full time, I can work full time. Uh, I do dig that. Excuse me, it's $15 an hour. I'm not really tripping on that because you make it up in the sales. So, and like I said, I think I can hit my mark within 2 years of 40 grand that I don't need. I think I might be able to do less than that if the refrigerator business picks up, or if I leave this place, or not even that. If they give me access to the washroom, my business will pick up because now I can fix washing machines. And once I'm able to fix washing machines and fix dryers, it's just my business is just gonna, because now I can sell them and I know that they work. You know what I mean? A lot of my business comes from repeat customers. It's a huge deal to get a customer and then somebody call me out of the blue and say, "Hey, we heard you were the guy." You know what I mean? So customer satisfaction is my biggest deal. And this is why I don't just like to buy a machine and hope that it works. I like to turn it on, play with it, listen to it, smell it, watch it. And I'll sit there and run a cycle for 2, 3 cycles and just watch it and listen to it and, check for leaks and all that stuff. And sometimes I'll take the top off and look for anything in there and look for bugs. Bugs will tear a washing machine up. And it's not necessarily roaches. One time I sold this lady a refrigerator. She paid me $300 for it, and then she called me back and said, "This thing is full of bugs." I didn't even know it was full of bugs. But what happened is the bugs had crawled into the back of the refrigerator and this one was a French door. They crawled into the back of the refrigerator and they go through this little hole that's back there. And what they're doing is they're drinking the water from the filter. Whenever you take a refrigerator and you get rid of it, you put it on the side of the curb, especially if it's a 2-door or a 3-door refrigerator, you leave the filter in there. People don't usually take the filter out. Well, that filter is full of water. So if you leave it out on the curb long enough or in your backyard, it's going to get infested with bugs. And there's one particular type of bug that goes up in there. And what they do is they lay their eggs in there. They hatch, boom, fly everywhere. I mean, it's crazy. If you see refrigerators on the side of the road that are, full of food, when you open the door, these particular bugs are going to hit you right in the face because they love to invade refrigerators because it's just a source of water for them, and they can drink that filter water forever. Yeah, so once she called me about it, I said, "Okay, I'll give you your money back." She said, "No, you know what? Don't worry about it." So she ended up cleaning it herself. And I've also seen another refrigerator full of them. And I thought it was just hit it with a little and it's over. No, the whole back of the refrigerator was full of them. So you turn your refrigerator back and you see it's silver back there. That whole thing, all the way down, was full of these things. So I'm sitting out there for an hour rinsing these things off and watching these bugs come out. They're dead. But I'm like, this thing was infested. They infest every space of the refrigerator, and you have no idea that they're there until you see 1 or 2 flying around. Well, guess what? There's probably about 1 million of them back there. And you have to, the only way to get rid of them is the ones that are alive, you have to spray them down with Raid or something. And then the eggs that are back there, you have to have a hose or something. That hose will break them up, and then boom, they're out of there. So there's that. But so yeah, the refrigerator game is the real deal for me. I love it. I'm gonna stick with it. I just bought a fridge for $50. I sold it for $250. You know what I mean? I just love the game. Let me see. You guys left a comment. I love the refrigerator game. What's that? I should get what? Cornrows? I had cornrows at one time. I had cornrows. But yeah, so they're going to call me tomorrow. I'm going to accept. And the first meeting, they said, listen, even the first meeting tomorrow, it's a paid meeting. I'm like, you know what? Pay me. Let's go. I'm with it. So I figure if I can get those, 2 or 3 sources of income going on, I can reach my $40,000 limit, and then I can jump right into somebody's school. Another thing is that older people, or excuse me, people are working more. They're working past retirement. And I wanted to talk about that for a second because your retirement starts with your 401k. Your retirement and your 401k, some of you guys are company people. Your 401k is released to you without penalty at the age of 65. All right. That's not that long for me. You can retire earlier. There are some people who retired earlier and didn't have a lot of money, but they retired. Basically, every time you get a paycheck, you have money that goes in for your retirement. The problem is a lot of people do not know how much money is in their retirement. Not unless they're 1099 and they put money into an IRA. So if you are a 1099, which means you're a contract worker, you put money into your IRA, another bank account or whatever, your money is following the S&P, which is Standard & Poor stock market. The S&P gets you 10% a year. So it is the long haul. It's not the short haul, it's the long haul. The difference between that and then there's different kind of IRAs. So you look at a Roth IRA, then you're looking at the regular IRA. However, if you're not 1099 and you work for a company, you're looking at 401, your 401k. Your 401k is not individualized. Just to let you guys know that. I know you think you're special, but the truth is your 401k goes into one big pile of everybody else's money, and they throw that whole thing at the stock market. Those stocks are also following the S&P, but your 401k is being controlled by some company guy, whatever. He's like, I'm going to do this, do that, do this, boom, leave it there. If you do the whole IRA system, you actually choose what you want, the stocks that you want. And it pays to have some kind of knowledge. There's also robo accounts where the robo account chooses for you what stock they want to put you on. And it's just an automated system. You just, here's some money, and the algorithm just says, hey, I want to BlackRock today. Boom. And they put, $1,000 of your money on BlackRock, and there it sits. And you're watching BlackRock do whatever it's going to do. BlackRock does more than 10% a year. So you say that. But your 401k is a bunch of different stocks. The S&P 500 is 500 companies. So there's that. There are 500 different companies. And if you've been working for 10, 20 years, you have either your PERS if you worked for the state or your 401k. You probably think you got yourself $50,000, $60,000. That's playing the S&P, and every year you're getting 10%. You would be wrong. You would be wrong. If I were you, especially for some of you guys who's been working for companies for a long time, I would look into how much money you have on your 401k. I'm not saying you should take your money out and then get an IRA. Reason why I'm not saying that, because most of us don't know diddly about stocks. We don't. And you can lose a lot of money. But I will say the more you know about your 401k, the safer you are. So you can call your bank, or you can call your bank and then talk to a banker. So you're going to call your bank, and then they're going to send you to an actual banker. That banker, when you start talking about stocks and whatnot, that banker is going to say, how much are you looking to put on stocks, or how much are we talking about? And you're going to say $50,000. They're going to send you to somebody else. You know why? Because the people who handle the stocks for the banks, they handle it at different levels. Now, the $50,000 person is not the $250,000 person. Two different people. So if you're somebody who's, got 250 and up, they're going to send you to the 250 and up. If you're 1 million, 10 million, they're going to send you to the 10 million and up. Just letting you guys know. It would not hurt you at all to talk to a banker about 401k. It would not hurt you not one bit. The more information you know, the better. Hold a second. And if you don't do it, that's on you, but okay. So, yeah. So, 401k, look into your 401k, especially if you guys are 35, 40 years old, and you guys are hitting it hard. You guys been at it for 15, 20 years somewhere, hitting it every day, 6 to 6, burning it. Look at your earnings. Look at your earnings. It doesn't hurt to, listen to the chatter about 401ks and just, get your feet wet in finances. Don't just leave your money somewhere. Because people are finding out that a lot of these companies have spent their 401ks, which means your money that you earned, they took it and spent it. One of these companies is Yellow. It's a trucking company. And some of the problems that they had was they needed money. And in 2020, of course, when you had the PPP loans, but that just wasn't for, nothing, and or small companies. That was for anybody who got hit by, the whole, whatever they want to call that. But so they were like, yeah, we need, $500 million. And they got it. Problem is, it was time to pay it back. They didn't have it. And one of those reasons why is because they were already falling short before they got the PPP loan. Even before, the whole pandemic hit, they were already in trouble. And then when the pandemic hit, they were just like, yeah, we need money. But you were not making enough money to even cover what you borrowed. You were already in dire straits. So what they did was they took the 401k money and then they tried to leverage the 401k money and it didn't work. You know what I'm saying? They tried some switch arounds and all this, but they were taking these people's money and the people had no idea. They were completely oblivious to what was going on in the, back office. And they were moving around large sums of money trying to keep the company alive. And it just did not work. And once they took out that loan, they figured, hey, we don't have to dig into the pockets of the people anymore. But it turns out they still needed to do that because they could not pay back the loan. And, the government said, hey, we want our money. And the banks said, hey, we want our money. And they were like, we don't have your money. So what did they do? They went right back and dipped into the 401ks. And then they told the people what had happened. Of course, you had people just going off like, are you kidding me? I've been working for you for 30 years. And you mean to tell me I can't retire? Like, no, you cannot. You have no money. This is one reason why I'm telling you guys, look into your 401k. Look into what your company's doing. Don't just think that these guys are, they love you. They do not love you. They will take your money and run in a heartbeat. If their company is in trouble, they're not looking at you and your family and going, we don't want to hurt you. They will crush you. And those are just the facts. They will crush you and they'll smile in your face and you'll be working every day and you have no idea that you have bupkis in your bank account, in your purse or in your. Yeah, the state did it too. The state will do the same thing. So don't think because you work for the state, you're safe. I worked for the state and they leveled a whole floor. They told everybody they were fired. My boss's boss was fired. I saw him a year later and jumped in the back of a cab. He was the driver. So try that on for size. The guy with a master's degree, smart African dude. Yeah, he was the damn taxi driver. Okay? And I mean, they leveled everyone. They were just like, boom. You know why? Because the state got ripped off by the governor. The governor stole $20 million. And once he did that, they start looking for ways on how to recoup that money. One of them is we got to get rid of a whole bunch of people right now. And we got to have a skeleton crew. So they shaved down the whole departments, fired people just like that. Just like that. People have been there 10, 15 years. Boom, they were gone. These people do not love you. Whoever is your boss, they don't think it. Don't believe it. Your boss will tell you to leave in a heartbeat if it comes to between her and you. HR doesn't love you. You're not special. Nobody cares about your kid. Nobody. Now, all your kids, they don't care. Your kids will be standing on the sidewalk and they'll go by singing jingle bells. They don't care. So check on your money is all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. I don't care if it's state funded. I don't care if you're government funded. I don't care if you're city. I don't care about none of that. None of those people love you. You have to watch your money for yourselves. Because I've watched people at the state level, at the governor's level, rip off the whole state and not do one day in jail. Governor Taft. If you don't know who I'm talking about, it's Governor Taft. Look him up. Look him up. So when he did that, also it threw children's services into a disarray. So this is why I say they don't love you. They don't love your children because guess what's affected if child services is affected? If children's services is affected, guess what else is affected? Your food stamps. Guess who needs those food stamps? The children. Guess who didn't have food stamps? The children. That's what I'm saying. They don't care about you. They don't. The food stamps were messed up. People were trying to use it before it was EBT. It was this food stamp card. People's trying to use a food stamp card. No food stamps whatsoever. That funding was gone. Remember when the Red Cross took all that money? Them too. Yeah. These people, like I said, these people at the state level, they took all that money and they ran. They emptied out the accounts. They do not care about you. So I'm just trying to tell y'all, watch your 401k because you guys are getting your paychecks, direct deposit, on Thursday or Friday. And you're like, boom, I know this money's in the bank. You look at, they send you little pay stubs. You look at your deductions and you're going, okay, blah, blah, blah. And then you pay your rent, you pay your lights, you pay your insurances and all that. And you go on about your day and you think nothing of it until you have to. Until your paycheck don't come. You're like, what happened to it? Yeah. Your HR team knows about your 401k. They should have an open door policy, actually, where you can walk right in there and say, hey, I want to know about my 401k. And they're going to be like, sure, what made you? This is how they're going to do when you ask, sure, come on in, sit down. Why'd you want to, I don't know, what made you interested in your 401k? And they're going to look at you like, you're going to be like, because I want to know exactly how much money I have in my 401k. I want to know. Then they're going to take your information. They're going to pull up your account. You're going to look at an electronic number. That electronic number can be erased within a millisecond. And they're going to say, you have so-and-so, blah, blah, blah. Next thing you know, they're probably going to ask you again, how did you, what made you so interested? Then you ask them, if I wanted to withdraw my 401k right now, all of it, would I be able to do it? That's when the conversation gets interesting. They'll probably ask you one more time, why would you want to do this? Then they'll have all kind of silly reasons or, hey, you're going to buy a new boat or, no, you don't, you get ready to buy a new boat, new skis, what do you, blah, 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 blah. Try to make light talk. It's just like, no, I just want to know. I just want to know. I want a breakdown of it. And what they can do is have a printout of the breakdown of year by year, month by month, however you want to look at it. They're going to have a printout of it. How much money goes in, how much money you've been contributing to, and boom, at the the final conclusion of how much money is there. And by that, you can actually project, of course, adding on raises and cost of living and all that. You can make a rough draft, or you can hypothesize where you should be about time you decide to retire, whether it's 60, 65 years old, 70, whatever it is. The point is, you should know. That's my whole point. And I guarantee within this whole year, none of you have went to your HR department and said, hey, I want to know how much money I have in my 401k. Hey, I want to know, what is the penalty for withdrawal of my 401k? Because there is a penalty. There's a taxable penalty. Hey, I want to know, can I withdraw some now, some later, blah, blah. You should ask these questions. Because let's just take an example. Let's take Russia. The whole war, right? What happened to Russia when we went to war with them? And I mean we as in, America, subsidizing to, the Ukrainians. So what did America do? They sanctioned Russia, is what they did. And okay, so when you sanction anyone, when you sanction a country, especially one as big as Russia, you're sanctioning the people. So they sanctioned the banks, is what they did, because the dollar is controlled by America and it's controlled by the American army. That's who controls it. So they said, we're going to control the American dollar. And this is also why Russia, China, um, a couple other Middle Eastern countries have said, you know what, we're gonna go with our own currency. We're not going to allow you to sanction us again. Here's the problem with that. Here's the problem. Even though the dollar is not worth what it used to be, the biggest problem is you guys are in our countries. If you come to a UN country using a foreign coin, guess what we're going to do? We're going to tell you to translate that into the dollar. That's what's going to happen. And as soon as you do that, you can be what? Sanctioned. This is what Biden did. He's like, no, I'm not going to go over there and shoot at you. I'm going to sanction you because you invaded the Ukraine. And that's what he did. He sanctioned the banks. This is why there was a long, drawn-out line when the war started of Russians trying to run to the bank in Russia, actually all over the world, and trying to get their money out. They couldn't do it. He also sanctioned Russians who lived in UN countries. You understand what I'm saying? If you use the dollar, even if you lived here in America for 25 years, you're still a Russian citizen. The United States knows who you are, and they sanction Russian citizens living here in America. Try that. Try that. Try to get your head around that. If you use the dollar, you were sanctioned. So know where your money is. I ain't telling you to obsess over it. I'm telling you, look, I don't trust anybody at this point. I remember Yellow. Yellow's a big company. I don't trust anyone. And some of the companies I looked at today, I mean, Kroger's is a great company. I would have loved to have worked for them 20 years ago. But you want me to be a maintenance man now? No. In the middle of Delaware? No, I'm not doing it. You want me to work for you? Put me in the office. I don't want to be on my feet at 60. Not all day. Now the job, I think I'm going to get tomorrow. Yeah, I'll be on my feet 8 hours, but I'm only going to, it's only part time. I'm not going to be full time on my feet. I'm not doing it. Yeah. Gonna buy me another pair of New Balance. I got some good ones here. I got a nice pair here, but my first paycheck, I'm gonna buy a new pair of New Balance. There's just no doubt about it. You know what I'm saying? Make sure I'm right. But yeah, look at your money because the money has been funny lately. You guys who have careers, look at that money. Who's been at the same job for the longest time? Look at your money. Just take a look at it. Yeah, that's the way I feel about it. You should have some control over your money. And if you haven't been paying attention to your 401k, you're going to find out real quick that you do not have control over it. And I'm not telling you put it into an IRA. But I am telling you, if you put it into an IRA, you have more control over it. The differences between the two IRAs is when you pay the taxes. The Roth IRA, you pay taxes when it comes out, I think. The regular IRA, you pay taxes when it goes in, something like that. I don't know. But that's the difference between the two, is when you pay the taxes. The Roth IRA says you can. Oh, there's also a limit to how much you can put into an account when it comes to an IRA. So right now, Roth IRA is saying $7,500 a year you can put into the Roth, and then there's when you can take all of your money out of it too. So that's a whole thing without penalty. So you guys look them up, get some info on it, because there's more than one way to track the S&P. If you're really just interested in just tracking the S&P, you're like, give me the S&P 500. I don't care about the NASDAQ or whatever. Just give me the basic, give me the skeleton, crew, the 500, because there's the 100 too, which follows 100 companies. So you can, do that, and put money on the 100 companies, or you can put money on the 500 companies, or you can take all of your money and just put it on one company. There are plenty of good companies. Usually when people do that, they usually put money on a bank. One reason why is because banks give dividends. So, especially if you're looking at the long run. So, if you, and some of the banks they look at are Canadian banks. And they look at these Canadian banks because they're very large and they've been around for a very long time. So smaller banks, they come and go all the time, but they look at the real large ones and they go, I don't think this is going anywhere. And then they give that bank, a large amount of money. And that bank will also, give you 10% at the end of the year. Maybe more sometime, depends on the bank. But that bank will also give you dividends. Now, your dividends is going to be issued to you quarterly. So you'll know the exact day your dividends is going to hit your account. You'll know the exact day. It'll tell you it's going to be out, January the 3rd. Then 3 months later, April the 3rd. 3 months later, and that's how it does. It comes out quarterly, right? And your dividends is based on, for one, companies don't have to issue you dividends. So just think about that. But you want to go with one that is issuing you dividends. And they're paying you because you're investing in them. That's what they're doing. So you can have a company that is going out of business. And what they're going to do is they're going to issue a higher dividend. So if you got ABC company going out of business, they're going to issue you a 15% dividend. You're going to be like, hell yeah, give me 15%. But they're going out of business. So what's happening is your dividend is going this way, your stock is going this way. That's what's going on. You got to look at, is it worth it or not? If especially quarterly, this is something you're not going to do, for a week or whatever. You're going to be watching the stock go down, but your dividends, you have a high dividend. You'll be like, oh, I don't think I want to do this. I don't think I want to do this. So watch that. But if you have a dividend that's somewhere around 3.9 or something like that, you'd be looking at $3.9 to match what you put into it. Then there's some numbers, there's some math in there to where you can figure out how much money you're going to get. It's to every, I think, to every 1,000. To every 1,000, I think. So it's a percent to every 1,000. But nonetheless, so once you figure out what you think you're going to get because of how much money you have in there, you have to understand that that's going to be broken up quarterly. So you're going to get whatever that dividend is broken down quarterly every year. And then you can do your calculations and find out how much you're actually going to get. And it's pretty precise. Then you're also going to get your percentage. So let's say you have an oil company. I like oil companies. My favorite company is Hess. I had them for a while. Yeah. So Hess pays dividends, right? I might go back to Hess, actually. Might give them a couple $100. But Hess has different dividends, right? So their dividend is, I don't know, 2 or 3%. But their growth, that's where it gets you. Hess has it's an oil company, and their growth is pretty decent. So you look at your weekly, monthly, I mean, it's broken down week, month, 3 months, 6 months. I mean, you can break the whole thing down and see what Hess is doing. But what you should really concentrate on is the end of the year. Once you look at Hess's end of the year, you're like, I need to invest in them. So this is a growth stock. So you got to understand that this is not going to bring you a whole bunch of money in one day. But, it will, depends on how much money you have on it, it will definitely pay out by the end of the year. Another company I'm actually with now is Dick's Sporting Goods. Dick's Sporting Goods was doing good, then it bottomed. But now it made all that money back up. So a lot of people was like, I'm pulling out. I don't want to, be here on a sinking ship. But it started bottoming, but then it caught back up, and now it's doing great. So you could be one of those people that like to ride the wave. So if you're like, this company is gonna go down, for the next 3 months, then it's gonna shoot up. You could be one of those kind of people who watch it every day. I don't know. It's exhausting, but you can do that and make yourself some decent money. You can make some money doing that. People do it all the time. But yeah, so there it is. It's your boy Tone 202. God loves you, so do I. I'm out.